Happy beyond all others was that virgin daughter of Priam, commanded to die beside an enemy tomb, under Troy's high walls, who never suffered fate's lottery, or as a prisoner reached her victorious master's bed. Carried over distant seas, my country set afire, I endured the scorn of Achilles' son and his youthful arrogance. Giving birth as a slave, he who then pursuing Hermione, Helen's daughter, and a Spartan marriage, transferred me to Helena's keeping, a servant to a servant. But Orestes, inflamed by great love for his stolen bride, and driven by the furies for his crime, caught him, unawares, and killed him by his father's altar. At Pyrrhus' death, a part of the kingdom passed by right to Helenus, who named the Chaonian fields and all Chaonia after Chaon of Troy, and built a Pergamus and his fortress of Ilium on the mountain ridge. But what winds, what fate set you course for you, or what god drives you unknowingly to our shores? What of the child, Ascanius? Does he live and graze on air? He whom Creusa bore to you in vanished Troy. Has he any love still for his lost mother? Have his father Aeneas and his uncle Hector roused in him any other ancient courage or virile spirit?
I walked from the arbor, leaving the fleet and the shore, when by chance in a sacred grove near the city, by a false Simmias, Andromache was making an annual offering, sad gifts to Hector's ashes, and calling his spirit to the tomb, an empty mound of green turf and twin altars. She had sanctified a place for tears. When she saw me approaching and recognized with amazement Trojan weapons around her, she froze as she gazed, terrified by these great wonders, and the heat left her limbs. She half fell, and after a long while, scarcely able, she said,
Are you a real person, a real messenger come here to me, son of the goddess? Are you alive, or if the kindly light has faded, where then is Hector?
She spoke, and poured out her tears, and filled the whole place with her weeping. Given her frenzy, I barely replied with a few words, and moved, I spoke disjointedly. Surely I live, and lead a life full of extremes. Don't be unsure, for you truly are. Ah, what fate has overtaken you, fallen from so great a husband? Or has good fortune worthy enough for Hector's Andromache visited you again? Are you still Pyrrhus' wife? She lowered her gaze and spoke quietly. Weeping, she poured out these words and was starting a long vain lament, when heroic Helenus, Priam's son, approached from the city with a large retinue and recognized us as his own, and led us joyfully, to the gates and poured out tears freely at every word. I walked on and saw little Troy, a copy of the one great, and a dry stream named Xanthus I crossed, and pressed my body and embraced the Scaean gate. My Trojans with me the city enjoyed no less, and in broad colonnades the king received them, pouring cups of wine in the center of courtyard, and held out their golden chalices. Aeneas, the returning hero of the Trojan War, received an oracle at Pelasgian Dodona, and learned that he will be the founder of the new Troy, the eternal city which will last forever, by the word of Zeus himself. Aeneas, escaping from Troy, went on a search, and as he sailed near Epirus, word had reached him that there lived the son of Priam in the city of Butrint. And as he approached, he saw an incredible similarity between the city and Troy, and his spirit was captured by the memories of that tragic city. Aeneas said, "I see before me a Troy in miniature, a Pergamum similar to the one great. There a dry river named Xanthus I crossed, and I pressed my body against the Scaean gate." Virgil, the Aeneid. Aeneas had truly thought he had found his new Troy, prophesied to become his destiny. But as he entered, he found the son of Priam and Andromache, refugees from Troy, who had already founded the city and built it as a copy of the old Troy. Aeneas himself found at home and passed many blissful days in Butrint, together with his warriors, before the oracle told him to move on and look for his destiny. After many adventures, he reached Rome and became the founder of that city, thus fulfilling the prophecy. At first sight, the legend is just that, a legend, but it tells us so much more. For example, it tells us that Butrint was very similar to Troy, and it was founded by the brotherly people. This not only suggests that Butrint was not a Greek city, but also that the Pelasgians and the Trojans were brothers connected by ancestry. Indeed, excavations confirm what the ancient writers also say, that the Pelasgians and the Trojans were connected, and they aided each other in war. Butrint was founded by the Chaonians, a Pelasgian pre-Greek people, and they still live in the same area today. The legend also connects Butrint to Rome by mythology. Rome was the new Troy, which was destined to avenge the old Troy, and indeed when the Romans conquered Greece, it was due to their divine plan to avenge the city of Troy. The Romans rebuilt the city of Troy, and it became the place of pilgrimage for all the Roman emperors, a sacred place. At the same time, they punished Greece as being the place of their enemies. Butrint was considered the little Troy. Butrint enjoyed a special status in the Roman Empire, becoming the home of many emperors, including Augustus and Caesar. This reverence was not extended to the Greeks, whom the Romans considered as traitors and the enemies of their ancestors. This legend also connects the Pelasgians, the ancient Albanians, with Romans, the brotherly people of Pelasgian origin. Zeus tells Aeneas in the Aeneid, "You will be the founder of the city in Italy, a place where your ancestors once came from." In many ways, the Roman civilization was meant as an antithesis to the Greek one. In the Roman world, Greeks were despised as treacherous, preferring to hide and cheat instead of be honorable. The virtue of the Roman civilization was honor, bravery, fighting, and ancestor worship. These values came directly from the deity that the Roman people worshipped above all others, Zeus. The holy totemic image of Zeus was the eagle, which became the official flag of the Roman people, and later of all the people that became Europe, who emulated Rome. The eagle is an imperial bird, It is virtuous and incredibly brave. It mates with only one mate for life, showing an incredible sense of loyalty. Once the eagle catches a prey, it is never afraid and it does not give ground to anyone. This incredible imperiousness is what connected the eagle with the Lord of the Heavens, Zeus. The eagle is the holy symbol of Zeus, and all the ancient authors acknowledge that Zeus was a Pelasgian deity and ascribe the birthplace of Zeus to the Acrocerunian mountains in the south of Albania, above the pass of Logara. To this day, the Albanian inhabitants of these parts maintain shrines dedicated to Zeus in these mountains. The Pelasgians were the ancestors of the Albanian people, and they used to live not only in the territory of modern Albania, but according to Herodotus and many other authors, the entire territory now called Greece, as well as most of the Balkans. The Albanian national symbol is and always will be the eagle, the totemic image of Zeus. They share even today the same values that were handed down by their ancient deity. The values of the Albanians traditionally are bravery, honor, loyalty, courage, and hospitality. If we consider this and compare them with the modern Greeks, we find that these values are completely antithetical to the values of modern as well as ancient Greeks. Greeks were always traders, not warriors. They preferred to cheat rather than be honorable. The Greeks today use the same techniques of dishonor as in the old days to dominate and depopulate Albania. For example, the Greek government pays poor Albanians to declare themselves a Greek minority and then demands the Albanian government to recognize them as Greek. Greece has committed many genocides against the Albanian people, but the Albanians have never retaliated in kind. Cherkis Topulli, the Albanian warrior of the Balkan Wars, famously said that he could easily kill Greek civilians, but that he considered this action dishonorable, so he only fought and defeated Greek armies. In contrast, the Greek armies during 1913 killed massive amounts of Albanian civilians from the tribe of Chamaria. This should be considered a genocide by modern standards, yet no politician in EU has ever spoken about this genocidal aspect of the Greek government, since this is not compatible with what the values of the EU are supposed to be. Again, in 1944, the Greek army depopulated the Albanian population of Chamaria in Thesprotia, where they had lived for thousands of years, and the refugees were pushed towards Albania. But after that, they tried to continue and take over the entire South Albania, but the Albanian Communist government of Hoxha kicked them out in 1945 and defeated the Greek army shamefully. After this, the Greek treacherous government decided to go back to its subterranean tricks of cheating and manipulating public opinion in order to say that South Albania was ancient Greek land. This campaign continues to this day. Paid teams of operatives continuously manipulate Wikipedia sites that deal with ancient Albanian cities, denominating them falsely as Greek cities. In the meantime, Greece pushes the European Union to recognize the properties of the so-called Greek minority in Albania in order to claim that these territories were part of Greece. Yet, they continuously deny that there is Albanian autochthonic people living in Greece today, even though it's very obvious if you travel to the northern parts of Greece that there is Albanians who speak Albanian and who still live in Albanian land and who are denied their existence under pain of death. How can a country like this be in the European Union and nobody has even dared to ask or investigate this behavior? The European Union goes all over the world and claims that they defend the innocent, the poor, and the downtrodden. They claim that their universal values are those of tolerance, humanity, and protection. Yet they continuously turn a blind eye to one of its member states, bullying and trying to occupy and genocide the poor and small country of Albania, who has been continuously forced to face various hordes of enemies. Since ancient times, these techniques the Greece uses today to achieve their old dream of invading the territory of modern South Albania, and the EU and its shameful collaboration has once again betrayed the Albanian people and has openly taken the side of Greece, forgetting that it was this very small land of Albania that gave them their own name and their own values and symbols.